Honestly, this is the like one of the maybe hardest fight for me because he's big, he's good everywhere. Maybe he don't have good wrestling defense, but his grappling is good. He depends. That's why I'm prepare for myself for anything. I can strike with him, I can wrestling with him, grappling with him, but I know he also training hard for me because his last opponent, Bilal, we have like not same style, but Bilal also tried to wrestling, but he defends his wrestling very well. That's why I have to be ready. If he stop my wrestling, I'm gonna try again.
So Sean O'Malley just dropped his pick for the big UFC 322 main event. And yeah, it's definitely going to get people talking. The former bantamweight champ thinks Islam Makhachev is going to snag another belt at Madison Square Garden, even though he totally admits it's not an easy fight to call at all.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. Islam's boxing is underrated.
Okay, so this UFC 322 main event, it's been hyped for ages. We've got Islam Makhachev, who's just dominated the lightweight division with an insane 15-fight win streak. Now he's moving up to 70 pounds to challenge the welterweight champ, Jack Della Maddalena. Remember Jack? He just grabbed that belt earlier this year at UFC 315, totally outclassing Belal Muhammad over 5 rounds. And now his first defense is against arguably the most dominant fighter in MMA. Both these guys are on massive winning streaks. Makhachev hasn't lost in almost a decade, and Della Maddalena's last loss was 9 years ago. Something's gotta give, right? The whole MMA world is torn on whose streak is gonna break.
His kickboxing, his timing, like he's underrated. He's a high-level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
But here's the thing, O'Malley doesn't think the size difference is going to be a huge deal. He figures Makhachev moving up won't be as dramatic as everyone expects, especially since both guys are built pretty similarly. For O'Malley, it all comes down to how they execute their game plans and who stays composed, not just who's bigger. Still, O'Malley totally admitted the fight feels super close. He actually went back and forth with his prediction for a while, but in the end, he's picking Makhachev to win by a really tight decision.
The narrative of that Islam's this GOAT and he's better than Khabib is so far off. Now, him going to welterweight and doing something Khabib has never done will get him a little bit out of Khabib's shadow, but still not completely out of his shadow, right? Islam versus JDM, this going to be more clear of a straight boxer, probably the best in the UFC, boxing-wise. And then Islam has decent striking, quick saying it's class. His main thing is his defense. His defense is good. He avoids shots. That's probably where he excels at. But his offense ain't as far as compared to JDM. So you have a straight boxer versus a straight grappler. That's what this fight comes down to. So the whole thought process for JDM, his path to victory is when you get taken down, can you avoid him controlling your back? Can you hand fight? Can you avoid all that and get back to your feet? If JDM gets taken down and can get back to his feet and not get just out positioned and just wrestle fucked for 5 rounds, I just don't see a way Islam beats him.
But not everyone sees it O'Malley's way. Israel Adesanya, who's actually trained with Della Maddalena, couldn't disagree more. The former middleweight champ thinks Jack isn't just ready for this challenge. He's going to make it look easy. Adesanya has seen Della Maddalena's prep up close, and he's convinced Jack's striking and composure will just overwhelm the Dagestani legend. From Izzy's perspective, Islam's biggest weapon, his wrestling, could even become a trap. He expects that once Islam realizes he can't keep Jack on the ground, he'll be forced into striking exchanges, and that's exactly where Della Maddalena thrives. In Adesanya's mind, that's when the fight ends. He's picturing a brutal knockout right around the midway point.
I'm gonna go with Islam. I just think he's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a close fight. I think he's gonna squeak out a close fight. God, I don't know. I hate guessing fights, man. I hate guessing fights.
That's why you often hear fighters saying things like, I don't want to stand with you when it comes to Islam. His grappling threat is just that real.
I think Jack in this fight with Islam, he's gonna have to just overwhelm him with punishment on the feet. And then when he shoots, because he has to shoot, Islam's not gonna win.
Meanwhile, Dustin Poirier sees things a little differently, especially since he's actually shared the cage with Islam for almost 5 full rounds. Poirier knows exactly what it's like to deal with that constant wrestling threat. He believes if Makhachev can't control Della Maddalena on the ground, Islam is in serious trouble. Poirier explained that Islam's opponents often struggle to really commit to their strikes because the takedown threat is always there. That hesitation really limits their offense and forces them to play defense, even when they're standing up. For Della Maddalena, who's known for his crisp combinations and knockout power, finding that rhythm without fearing the takedown is going to be key. Poirier totally respects Jack's athleticism and striking, but he's not sure if the Australian can keep that balance between offense and takedown defense long enough to really do some damage.
He's gonna stand with him, but he's gonna realize I need to shoot because this is where I'm supposed to win, or I'm better at supposedly. I'm not trying to count Islam out, but I just know Jack. I know when Jack keeps getting up, it's gonna be a problem, and Islam's gonna be forced to strike. And when he's forced to strike with Jack, he's gonna get hurt. That's where I'm at in this fight. And Islam, I think, is the best of the Dagestanis, one of the best fighters in history, one of the most efficient. I do think, Islam, I'm not disrespecting, I think Islam will be able to get him down, but for how long? Yeah, in this fight, not just because it's Anzac United, I really think that Jack Della Maddalena has the skills to stifle Islam's game and be able to just put it on the feet and knock him out. Might be second round, might be third, or we'll see. Soon and find out.
What's more, Dricus du Plessis isn't hesitating at all to back Makhachev. This South African contender thinks Islam's experience against elite competition is totally unmatched. He pointed out that Makhachev has already beaten the best of the best fighters who have challenged for titles or even held them. In his mind, facing that kind of opposition just shapes champions differently. While he totally respects Della Maddalena's rise, du Plessis just can't pick against the Dagestani. Plus, du Plessis also thinks moving up to welterweight might actually be perfect for Islam. The longer camp let him put on the right kind of size, and from what he's saying, Makhachev looks bigger, stronger, and just as sharp as he's ever been.
Islam isn't a small guy. He is big. I'm not sure how big Jack is. I've never seen him in person, but I don't think Islam's going to be undersized when they face off. I don't think it's going to be about the size. To me, it's going to come down to the execution. If Islam can secure the takedowns, Jack's takedown defense, his get-ups, I think that's going to be the story of the fight. I don't think size is going to be the story of this fight.
And get this, Carlos Braids, who's actually competing on the same card, offered a more psychological take. For him, this fight is all about mental strength. He really admires how calm and mature Della Maddalena stays under pressure, even in the biggest moments. Braids believes that if Jack can just stay composed for all 5 rounds, he could actually frustrate Makhachev and slowly start to pull ahead.
Welterweight title bout. Jack Della Maddalena against Islam Makhachev.
This fight is truly one of those fights where your heart says something, but your mind says something else. I love Jack Della. I think he's an incredible fighter. I love watching him fight. How good he did against Bilal was incredible. I mean, Bilal is really good wrestling. But if you look at his opponents versus Makhachev's opponents, Makhachev, he was pound for pound for very long. Pound for pound king for a very good reason. People think Jack Della is going to be bigger. I don't think so. But this one, I would love for him to win, but unfortunately, I cannot go against Makhachev in this one. He is just so big. And I don't think he's going to give up anything. I think he's going to be great at that weight, to be honest.
Plus, a bit banal Daria, who's long respected Islam's game, shares similar concerns about the weight difference. He thinks moving up a division introduces a whole new set of challenges that Makhachev has never really faced before. In his view, Della Maddalena's pressure and physicality might actually wear Islam down the longer the fight goes. He still praises Makhachev's intelligence and patience, but he warns that this matchup could push Islam into situations he just hasn't been in before.
JDM and Islam, who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter. Since he stopped fight now, he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is going to win?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think he wins a decision, or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
Do you think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he loses, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fight. How close is gonna be?
What's crazy is Michael Bisping focused on the massive legacy implications of this fight. For him, a win at UFC 322 would be absolutely monumental. If Makhachev captures that welterweight, he'd become only the 11th fighter in UFC history to win titles in 2 divisions. And get this, he'd also tie Anderson Silva's iconic 16-fight winning streak. Bisping totally believes that kind of achievement would place Islam among the all-time greats, right up there with names like John Jones, Georges St-Pierre, and Demetrius Johnson.
Islam versus JDM. Do you still favor Islam in that matchup?
I'm going to lean now towards JDM. I feel like the size will make a difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, but so I just feel like JDM.
But still, not everyone is totally convinced that this will be another smooth chapter in Makhachev's story. Gilbert Burns sees this matchup as a total chess game. He actually thinks Makhachev might benefit from moving up, because not having to cut down to 155 pounds could make him stronger and mentally sharper. But Burns also pointed out that Della Maddalena isn't coming into this unprepared at all. Training with submission ace Craig Jones means Jack's defensive groundwork will be super well tested. Burns expects the fight to be highly technical, rather than chaotic. It'll be more about both fighters trading positions and momentum, instead of just wild swings and brawls.
Greatest fighters in MMA history: George St. Pierre, John Jones, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva. If when I listed that off with a win here, I said Islam Makhachev, would that feel right to you, or would that feel too soon?
See, the thing is it doesn't sound right, and maybe I'm being a little bit maybe I'm not giving him his credit there. When you look at Anderson Silva, his second fight in the UFC, he became the champ. Beat Chris Lieben, then he beat Rich Franklin to become the champion. So the majority of those 16 wins were title defenses. So that's a little different. When you talk about John Jones, there's a lot of title defenses in there as well. Same with George St. Pierre. I'm certainly not critiquing Islam Makhachev's career. I'm not nitpicking and discrediting it at all. Yeah, I mean, listen, if he gets the job done, I think without question, he deserves to be in that conversation.
He can defend that belt a couple times against a Sean Brady, against a Shavkat, against any of these super high-level welterweights. I think we're having conversations about him being top 3 or number 1.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. If he can beat Jack, and again, it's a big if, but if he can beat Jack and go on a run and defend it 2 or 3 times, it's insane.
On the other hand, Stephen Thompson takes a more cautious stance on Della Maddalena's rise. While he totally acknowledges the Australian's impressive talent and poise, Thompson wonders if this step might be coming a little too soon for him. Moving from just being a contender to then defending champion against someone like Islam Makhachev, that's a massive leap. From Thompson's experience, that kind of jump really tests every single part of a fighter's skill set. He believes Della Maddalena might be stepping into the deep end a little earlier than ideal, especially with contenders like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary waiting for their shot.
Islam is working very hard. He's being vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's number 1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think, and JDM has a clear shot on beating.
But then, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Steve Erceg couldn't be more confident in his fellow Australian. He called Jack's performance over Belal Muhammad one of the greatest by an Aussie in UFC history. Erceg was really impressed by Della Maddalena's composure under pressure and his ability to mix patience with devastating power. He even compared Jack's approach to Dustin Poirier's, that same balance of timing and precision, but with even heavier hands. To Erceg, that combination might be exactly what it takes to expose the few weaknesses Makhachev has kept hidden.
Who do you think wins that fight between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena?
Well, first off, I gotta say, if I was Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary or somebody that is right there who's really worked hard to get there, I would be pretty pissed. Because, you know, this guy, JDM, just got the title, and then he's giving somebody else a shot at what I've earned the right to have, you know, which is the title shot. Like, give JDM a shot at, you know, give him one or two more guys. If he beats them, then give him somebody outside the division. But I would be kind of pissed. I would be kind of upset that they're giving this guy immediately somebody from 155 division. Now, I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev. Bigger guy, somebody who won the title from somebody with a similar style in Bilal Muhammad. I do believe Islam Makhachev striking is a lot better than Bilal Muhammad's, but their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
And then Robert Whittaker, another proud Australian and former UFC champion, fully supports Della Maddalena too. Having competed at both middleweight and welterweight, Whittaker understands firsthand just how much of a difference those few extra pounds can make. He doesn't believe Jack needs to completely shut down Makhachev's wrestling, just make it ineffective enough to keep the fight standing. If Della Maddalena can keep his back off the fence and use his balance to stay upright, Whittaker sees a clear path to victory. The key in his eyes is for Jack to use his punching power early to make the Dagestani uncomfortable closing the distance.
Known for a very long time that Jack is an amazing fighter. He's really good, and he shocked me on how good he was. Like, he handled the grappling exchanges so well, and it's the best striking performance I've seen from him. Like, he just, like, the big moment, like, he rose to the occasion. It was, like, fantastic to see, and I really do think I do think the grappling from Islam, like, he's a better technical grappler than Bilal is, but he's not quite as big. He's not as imposing. And yeah, if you look at the Dustin Poirier fight, Poirier was able to stop some of his takedown and win some scrambles and stuff like that. I feel like not only will Jack be able to do that, but when he lands punches, it's going to be way more devastating.
Finally, there's Max Holloway, who sees this fight as a battle of minds more than anything else. He believes Della Maddalena's ability to make adjustments mid-fight could totally turn the tide if things start to go against him. Meanwhile, Makhachev's disciplined approach might give him control early on, but Holloway thinks it could also make him predictable if Jack starts reading his patterns.
You can be.
Because I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as like gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Your thoughts on Islam moving up to welterweight?
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, you know. He's the number 2 pound for pound in the world. You gotta respect that, but don't sleep on Jack. I think it's gonna be a tough fight. Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and when that match happens, I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack.
So across all these different perspectives, one thing is crystal clear. UFC 322's main event is way bigger than just a title fight. It's a true clash between 2 dominant forces. You've got a methodical grappling mastermind chasing that double champ glory, and then you have a calm, confident striker defending his throne for the very first time. Every single fighter and analyst seems to see something different in this one. Whether it's Makhachev's unrivaled control, Della Maddalena's explosive hands, or the sheer psychological warfare that's going to unfold round by round. When that cage door closes at Madison Square Garden, all the streaks, predictions, and hype won't matter. It's going to come down to whether Islam Makhachev can impose his legendary control against a man who absolutely thrives in chaos, or if Jack Della Maddalena can prove that calm hands and sharp precision can dismantle even the most disciplined fighter in the world.